Hi folks, I'm Ethan with Two Guys in a Ride, and welcome to our ultimate guide on the 2025 Toyota Sequoia, and this is the limited trim level. Today, I'll be covering the driver's information and infotainment screens. I'll do a general overview, show you how to access information, and do a deep dive. Let's get started. Today, we're working with our friends at Lead Car Toyota of Mankato in beautiful Mankato, Minnesota. Okay, so what we're looking at here, we'll start with the driver's screen, is a 12.3-inch all-digital screen, and it is very customizable. So you have the part over on the far left where it says FM right now. You've got the speedometer area, and then you've got the gauge area over on the right, and then you've got a bottom area. The areas that you can customize are the far right, the middle, and the far left. Now, up above, you do have ambient outdoor temperature and a clock. And then while we're sitting right here, I'm just going to show you how to change the middle screen because that's the simplest, and it changes with the drive modes. So I'm going to use the knob that's in the center of the center console here. And I'm just going to go down, and right now, let's see, we're on Eco. So that is the look. You get the speedometer on the outside, you get the RPM on the inside, and then it says Eco at the top. It says Eco in green over above the I-Force gauge. Okay, if I go up to normal, then you're going to get this. Again, it's a little different looking speedometer, and then of course the RPM gauge on the inside. And nothing is said. There's no normal word written anywhere. And then if I go up one more, I go to Sport. And then you're going to see Sport written on the top and Sport in green over on the right. Okay, so that is the way you're going to customize the gauges in the middle. So I'm just going to go back to normal for now. The parts on the bottom stay there. Your battery voltage, your oil pressure, your gas gauge, and then your engine temperature. And then, of course, you have your gear select that will change. And then, of course, it says ready because the batteries are ready to be used. You've got the gauges over on the right. Of course, this is for your twin turbos. So the I-Force shows you when they're swept. I don't know that I can get them. Yeah, I can't get them to move right now. And then the Max will show you when the battery engages. Okay. Over on the far left is the part that you can customize the most. Now, you've got your odometer down on the far left, and then the button to reset that is actually down below the steering wheel. It'll say auto trip, okay, and you can just click on that to get trip A, trip B, and then the overall miles till maintenance, and then your odometer. Okay, so that is where that button is. Now, to control the things in the screen, you're going to use the back button on the left side of the steering wheel, the two arrows, and the up, down, and the press for OK. Now, you do additionally have volume knobs for the media. You've got your voice command, but you can also use the phrase, hey, Toyota. And then, of course, you have your phone button. So, to start with, I'm just going to use this left button, and you're going to notice at the top, I started Eco, and then I'll go to the right gauge, right button. You got navigation, you have media, you've got car information, you've got some settings you can make, which there's quite a few things in here besides the safety systems, and then any alerts the vehicle is going to give you, low on windshield wiper fluid, low on gas, oil change due, that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to go all the way back to Eco here, and you'll notice on the far right there were two little white dots. That means there's two pictures. So right here I'm showing distance to empty and then total average miles per gallon, and yeah, this is very low miles per gallon, but I've been driving the truck with accelerating and braking and then idling for a long time. So that is why that is reflected there. It does do much better than that. Okay. You'll notice it says hold OK to reset, and that is very typical on all these screens. You just press and hold the OK button to reset it. Now, I'm going to go down one screen because I have got one more thing here, and that is just distance to empty. And if I toggle down again, I'm back to my same screen. Now you see those two dots. They disappear fairly quickly. All right, that is it for that screen. I'm going to go over here. If you had a navigation course plotted, your turn-by-turn directions would show up here. Otherwise, you get a very, very nice compass. Okay, I'm going to go, there's nothing else. Yep. Now I'm going to go one more to the right. This is your media. And so to get a different source, you just press the OK button, and then you can just toggle through your different sources. All right, so I should explain quickly, this is not Google-based. This is Toyota's own system. It's a huge upgrade over the prior Entune system. It's kind of what's replacing it. It's much faster and much better graphics. Okay, but you do have some things that are pre-built in, like in addition to AM, FM, Sirius XM, you've got Apple Music and Amazon Music. Now, you're going to have to sign into them, but they're there. All right, I'm going to hit the back button. Okay, if you want a quick way to change sources instead of having to, press this button and go through them, but it's kind of nice because you can see them all, you can, let me hit the back button, use the mode button on the right side of the steering wheel, and then you can quickly just, each press goes to the next one. Now, you really do have a couple of arrows on the bottom of the steering wheel. If you press and hold, it seeks to the next station. I'm going to go over one more to the right here. Now you got some vehicle information here. This is all your brake gain and output information. Of course, that's not set up right now. I don't have a trailer or anything on there. But you can hold OK here, and then you can add a trailer, deselect a trailer, edit a trailer, or delete a trailer. So lots and lots of neat options under there if you're pulling a trailer. Okay, I'm going to just go down here because there's more information. See those 4 dots on the right of it. Okay, now the length, they do have an auto selection for the length of the trailer, which is really cool. Okay, if I go down, I got trip distance, total time, and then I've got tire pressure, right? Which is really, really nice to have that. All right, that is it in that screen. I'm going to go over one more to the right. So if I press and hold, I can have lane centering is off, but if I simply click OK, it's on. Okay? Hit the back button to get back. It will eventually come back to this, but it's quicker to press the back button. Okay, how do you want it to be alert? You want the steering wheel to vibrate? Do you want audio? Okay? You can feel that. How sensitive do you want the system? And you can just press, you kind of got low and you got high. Sway warning if you're pulling a trailer. Do you want that on or off? And those are just simple pushes of the OK button. Okay, I am going to go back. Okay, here we go. Pre-collision system. If I press and hold, then I can change the sensitivity. Got 3 different levels. I'm going to hit the back button. Now, if I just wanted to turn it off, I would just press once. Now it's actually going to give me a warning because that has gone off. You'll notice that the triangle in the top was orange there for a second. Okay, I'm going to click and just turn that back on. Blind spot monitoring. You just, a quick click turns it off. A press and hold gets you into the settings. Now, that's a little light that shows up in your mirror, and you can adjust the brightness of it right here just by pressing OK. Okay, got 2 levels, and you can set the sensitivity. All right, I'm going to hit the back button. Parking sensors, you can have them on or off. And I don't believe, oh, I do. Volume alert. Okay, you can set how loud the parking sensor volume is when they remind you there's something back there. Hit the back button. Okay, rear cross traffic assistant. You can just have that off or on. That is all of these I would leave on. I wouldn't turn a single one of them off, except for maybe the lane centering part that may irritate you. But the rest of the safety assistance, boy, I sure leave those on. All right, you can adjust the volume here. All right, I'm going to go down. Okay, now road sign assistance on or off. This is the sign reading, and it shows up in the middle of your speedometer RPM gauge. Okay, customized right side. This is where we can change those gauges over on the far right. So I'm going to click and hold, and now I can change from boost gauges to pitch and roll. I'll press and hold again, or I can have tow gauges. Now with the tow gauges, you still get the iForce twin turbo gauge, and you get your battery gauge, your battery assistance gauge there. Okay, so that is just really cool. So you can customize, and those are the 3 things that you can set it to. So I'm going to just back here for a minute. You can turn them all the way off and have nothing on that side if you want. And I'm going to just go back and leave it on boost gauges. Okay, You can go into trailer settings if you push and hold here. Okay, and this is, we've already seen this already, just another area to add a trailer. If I go down here, this is a trailer light check. So if you had a trailer hooked up, you can do a light check from the vehicle. Very, very handy. Okay, vehicle settings. I'm going to click and hold here. Okay, this is where you can set your rear door. Okay, you can have that on. You can have it hands-free where you swipe. Okay, opening adjustment. If I click there, now you can adjust what the level is, and you can see how high it is. Okay, right now it's set to the highest level, which is probably where you're going to want it, but that's where you adjust that. You can adjust the volume because it does chime at you. Okay, this is where you can turn the whole power door opening off. Okay, I'm going to hit back. Rear seat reminder on or off. That just is a nice thing to leave on. It just reminds you to check your back seat, make sure nothing's there, no pets, no kids. Okay, tire pressure warning system. Okay, here's where you can set the pressures, identifying each wheel in position, and the setting unit. Okay, you can have kPa, PSI, or bar. Hit back button, hit the back button again. Scheduled maintenance. If I click there, this is where you can reset it all. All right, just go up to yes and click OK. All right, I'm going to go down again, oil maintenance. Click there. You do your oil change. That's where you want to reset that. Okay, I'm going to go back. I'm going to go down again. Now, here I get another one called settings. If I click and hold, this is where I can change the language. Okay, just select the one that you want and click OK. You can change your units. Just select the one you want, press OK. Hit the back button here. And speed meter. Okay. Now, I can go up and I can have this digital. So this is how you're going to, besides the drive modes, you can change that look of this in here. Now I'm going to just go to analog, which is what I had a minute ago. And then I'm going to go to analog and digital. Okay, so you have a way to change that middle screen in addition to the drive modes. All right, now I am going to go down to the next one, which is eco. Okay, fuel economy. I'm going to click. I can have it show the trip average, the total average, or the tank average. The back button, and that is the end of, whoops, let me hit the back button. Okay, I'm going to go down again. Okay, now, media. Okay, I can have that. The audio tab can be on or off in the driver screen. So if you never use it, you just an extra piece of information, you can shut that off here. Okay, vehicle information, drive info type. Do you want trips or totals? Okay, then we'll go back. Drive info items. If I click here, do you want distance or total time? Okay, and you just click to select it. Okay, I'm going to go back again. Pop-up displays. These are the things that will pop up on your screen as they occur in real time. Okay, turn-by-turn navigation. So no matter where you are on the screen, it'll just pop up and say turn. Now, if you're on the navigation tab up here, on the left, then you'll see them all the time. But you can have that pop whenever there's a turn. Telephone, anytime you get a phone call, text, whatever from your phone, it'll notify you. Audio operation on and volume operation on. So I would suggest leaving all those on, but let's just keep going down here. You got voice control. You can turn that off if you want. And then the screen brightness. All this does here is it's the brightness of the actual pop-up display. So you can have it brighter or you can have it not as bright. You're going to go down again, and that's the same thing now we've already seen. So it's just these items. All right, I'm going to hit the back button. Okay, multi-information display. If I want this part turned off, I can do that. So I can have both the far right and the far left completely off and just the information in the middle if I want. Okay, to get it back, you're just going to tap OK, and there's back. Okay, and then of course you can go to default settings, and then we're back to language. All right, so that is how you're going to customize all of the settings on the driver screen. And next, we're going to move over to the infotainment screen. Okay, welcome to this beautiful, huge 14-inch infotainment screen. And again, this is the latest from Toyota. Think of it as an upgrade to Intune. It is much faster, much better graphics, and it was just a needed step up, and it's really nice. Now they've really done an interesting thing here, and where they've taken away a lot of the app view that you would have on a screen, and they've really simplified it, which I think it personally is a fairly smart move. There isn't a home button or any sort of apps that you can, manipulate and move around. This is what you get. Now, these are your main icons on the far left. Think of these as the apps on your phone. And of course, this screen is what they do. All right. So on navigation, unfortunately, you've got to be connected and have a profile. I don't, so I can't show you that. But I can tell you that it's not Google. It's Toyota's system. And it works really well. And it rotates easily, or, you can click and zoom. You can just use the Hey Toyota to get, and then say, find the nearest McDonald's. And it will. It works really well. It's a very, very fluid map. You get the latest updates, as far as traffic and all that kind of stuff is concerned. And it is full screen. So it is really nice. I wish I could show that to you, but I can't. But when you get in and go for one test drive on one, it is really, really cool. You can click on the search button, and what that does actually is automatically activates the voice assistant. But there is a keyboard button. If you press, you can type it in manually. But honestly, folks, it's so easy when you can just say, "Hey, Toyota, find the closest McDonald's or Dairy Queen or whatever." And it will do it. It'll list them, and then you'll say, I want to go to this one, and you go. Okay, so really, really nice. All right, so the next button in the list is media. And so right now, there are currently no favorites stored. So I'm going to go ahead and go store some favorites, because I want to show you how to do that. And we are currently in FM. Now, you notice this little bar down here. If I click on that, it's going to bring it up full screen. To make it a favorite, I simply click on the heart. Okay, now I'm just going to go to another station. Okay, there we go. Let's make that a favorite. Let's just select another one. Okay. As soon as that disappears, we'll make another favorite one. Okay, so now I've got some favorites added, and that's how you do it. Whether it's AM, FM, or Sirius XM, it's all the same. Okay, and I'm going to click this back button, and then you have all your favorites that will end up being listed here that you can see. Okay. So that's how you make a favorite. How do you tune? Well, you can go to tune button here, and you can do it manually. Hey, I got the volume shut off, of course, because of copyright issues. But you can also do this. Hey, Toyota, tune to 105.9 FM.
Tuning to 105.9 FM.
And there you go. So, the whole idea with that voice assistant is that you really don't have to touch a lot of buttons. You can keep your focus on the road. Now, I want to show you one more thing about favorites, because people are always asking, well, how do I, eventually when this vehicle is used, how do I delete the presets and put my own in? Okay, so under favorites here, click on any one of them. Okay, you get an edit button. Now I can delete it, or I can click and hold and rearrange the order. Okay, now when I say done editing and I go back here, it's been reorganized. I put 91.5 at the bottom. Okay, you'll notice that when I went to tune, I was doing FM, but if I click up here, I can do for AM and I can do for Sirius XM. Okay, now, if I click on the FM radio, I can get a few more things like all stations, adult pop, these categories, right? So if you want to look by category, you can of course do that. Okay, I'm going to hit the back button here. And I'm going to show you that AM radio and Sirius XM look almost identical. Okay, here's AM. Okay, again, you got the heart to make a favorite. You got the channel button. You got the scan button. If you had a favorite, this is where you could edit them again. And then if I go back and I go to Sirius XM, this again is going to look just like AM and FM. So I can bring up the screen. I do have a few more functions because it's Sirius XM, and you can do different things. So you can notify when certain groups come up, a favorite artist or something. You can of course pause things. You can skip forward, skip backwards, that kind of stuff. So earlier on the driver screen, you may have said, well, wait a minute, we had Amazon Music and Apple Music. Where are those? Because they're not here. They're under sources. All right, so the other thing that I want to show you in media is how to control the sound settings. So for that, I wish they put a button right in here because it would be much more convenient. But you're going to go to settings. You're going to go down to sound and media. Click on it. And then what you want to click on is sound tuning. And here you got your treble, your mid, and your bass. Now this does have a JBL 14 speaker sound system, which does include the subwoofer and the amplifier. Okay. Down here, you've got fade and balance, which you can just drag around, of course, or you can use the buttons on the screen. Either way that you want to do it. And you can always hit recenter and it automatically brings it back. Okay. Under levels, the only thing that would concern the media is the auto sound levelizer. And basically, the louder the noise in the vehicle, the higher the volume turns up automatically. The lower the sound in the vehicle, as far as road noise and stuff, then the lower the sound goes. And the whole idea is that your volume stays consistent according to your ear, no matter how much noise there is in the vehicle. Then that's road noise. That's not kids yelling in the back seat. And so you can play with that to see if you like that or not. I personally, I love it. But you know, that would be up to you. Okay. So that's media. Well, let's go to phone. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to hook up, my Android phone. So this does have a wireless charger. Okay. Right down in the center console, which is just super. So on my phone, I'm just going to turn it on. And then I'm going to go to settings before I do anything. And I'm going to go to connections. And then I'm going to click on Bluetooth. Now, once I've done that, I'm going to go over here and click connect to device. Okay, there's no paired devices, of course, right now. And I'm going to hit search for devices and see if it finds my phone. It does. So I'm going to hit that. And it says this vehicle will appear as Toyota Sequoia. It did on my phone. It gives me the same number. And that's important because if there's someone else in the car with you, it may have attached to their phone. So make sure this is the right number. On my phone, I'm hitting pair. Up here, I'm hitting OK. And should be just a few seconds. Now, this is an important screen. Would you like to enable Android Auto? Not yet or OK? If you click not yet, it's going to hook you up to regular Bluetooth. You want to click OK if you want Android Auto. Okay, which I do. And then on my phone, it said, do I want the vehicle to access messages and so forth? Allow. Contacts? Allow. Okay, then I just set my phone back on the charger here. And this is Android Auto. Now, if you're setting up Apple CarPlay, it's going to be the exact same process. And except for you're going to get Apple CarPlay. And the biggest difference is in Apple CarPlay, you're going to swipe left or right to look at all of your apps. And in Android Auto, you go up and down. This happens to be just what I have on here right now. They'll basically use any navigation app that you have. So, for instance, I have Google Maps and Waze. They'll do any sort of media that's not a video. Okay, so let's just go into Waze for a minute here. That's Waze running right now. I don't have a good internet connection where I'm at, so you're not going to see anything. But the map will populate. And what I want to point out, it's full screen. You can have this full view. You can have a split screen where you've got, like here, I've got YouTube music here. If you had your, you might see your phone there. Okay. Now, if I go to the dice and I look at all the information here, I can actually go to phone. And when I do that, I'm going to get recents, contacts, dial a number. Okay, but you can just use your Google Assistant to say, hey, Google, call so-and-so. Or if you're using Apple, hey Siri, call mom. And then it will do it. Now, on the voice command button on the steering wheel on the left-hand side, see my phone's picking it up now. I have mine set to wake up to my voice. And you can do that on Android or Apple. And then you don't have to use the voice command button. But if you want to, you can press and hold the voice command button, and then it will bring up your Google Assistant or Siri. Okay. And then you can say, call whoever. So that is Android Auto. And again, Apple CarPlay sets up the same way. Just make sure you click Enable Apple CarPlay on that one screen, and you'll be good to go. Now, how do you get back to Toyota? Well, you just go back here to the Toyota icon. Let's go down to the vehicle icon. That's the next one. You got trip information, okay? Gives you average miles per hour after start. Tells you what your range is, your trip duration. You can clear the data. Here's the history chart, miles per gallon, okay? And you can look at the history. Now, again, it's been idling forever, so this is why we're seeing that. You can clear the data. You can update it. That's that. Now, if we go into settings, we get a few more things. This is where your profile will be set up, and you can just click on Get Started, but you got to scan the QR code. To do that, you just use the phone app on your phone, and it should be able to scan that, okay? Under Bluetooth and devices, it's going to see just my Galaxy, but if you can pair another phone to this, which is really nice. And then you can switch back and forth. And as you saw when I clicked on my Galaxy, right now it's only used for Android Auto, but that does include navigation and media. If you say, you know what, we hooked an Apple phone earlier and we don't want to use that for navigation because I'm using my Android Auto, then just click this button here or here, and then it's going to disable Android Auto and continue on just straight Bluetooth. Okay, so now one will be connected via Bluetooth, one will be connected via Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. Now, when you sell the vehicle, eventually, you're going to want to go into here and tell it to forget all of your phones so that none of that data is on the vehicle. Okay, let's go use the back button here. That's Bluetooth and devices. Under General, you can turn off that screen beep you're hearing. And then if you're living a colder weather climate, a colder climate area, you can set the sensitivity up to 3, and that's supposed to work better with gloves on. Okay, this is where you can set date and time. However, if I go, let's say, up to the media, if I just click on the clock, it brings you right to that. Okay, and this is where you're going to set that. You can look at your keyboard history, and then under language and units, you can set here, language. You can select your 3 different languages. Measurements set automatically based on region. If you turn that off, now you get choice between miles per gallon, U.S. imperial, or kilometers per liter, or liters per 100 kilometers. Any one that you want there. Okay? All right. I'm going to hit back. And that was under General, the notifications. Okay. Software updates. The vehicle will download updates on the go, but it won't install them until you're parked. Vehicle suggestions. Okay. If the vehicle has any suggestions, like because it's going to learn as you go, like where do you frequently go? It might throw up those suggestions. Like if 9 o'clock, you usually go and have a coffee at a particular restaurant, it'll say, would you like to go here? And it'll suggest a restaurant. Or if you typically call, say your grandfather at a particular time, it's going to suggest that at that time. Now, do you want that on, off, or only tell me when I'm stopped? I don't want to be distracted while I'm driving. Okay. This is where you set up Wi-Fi. So this is the vehicle's hotspot. So if I click on it, it does take a minute. So don't get discouraged. It just takes a minute for it to actually come on. There we go. That's going to be your password. That's the type of security it has. And you can allow people to connect without a password. Okay, if you want that, and that's right off the vehicle's Wi-Fi hotspot. Okay, so it's not running through your phone. And that, is free for, I think it's 3 months, but you want to double check with your dealer on that. And then afterwards, you got to pay for a plan. If you want to hook to Wi-Fi, let's say you're in your garage, parked outside your driveway, this is where you hook to your home Wi-Fi. You click that on, and now I can say, yep, I want to just, discontinue Android Auto, and it's looking for networks, which it's not going to find out here. So I'm just going to shut that back off. But that is how you would set up to your home Wi-Fi. All right, I'm going to go back. All right, let's take a look at display. There's only one way to turn the screen off, but yet keep everything running. All your media, your navigation, all that. And that's by clicking here. Now, everything is still running. If I turn up the volume, you can hear I still have music. And all I have to do is tap the screen. There we go. I had to tap inside that area. And it's back on again. Where is this useful? At night. Depending on your vision, sometimes some folks, a lot of the light, and that's a big screen, bothers them at night, and they can't dim it enough, which you can do right here, but that's the limit of it. Okay, they turn the display off. They can still have everything running. You hear all the navigation commands, turn here, turn there, and all their media, but they just don't have the screen on. So, if you want to power off the whole system, push and hold the rotary knob here. All right, you can also adjust the contrast right here if you want. And then they allow you to adjust the camera brightness and, of course, the contrast of that. Then we're going to go back. Now, the one thing I didn't cover under when I talked about the media volumes was this part down here. This is all the other things in the car that ding and bing at you. So you can change the ringtone. Receive volume can change here. Your system voice, you can adjust there. Driving assistant, you can adjust their volume here. And then you can have surround sound on or off right there. Okay. So let's go back one more. All right. Under vehicle customized. Now we got a couple of things here. So under lights, auto on sensitivity. And I love this feature, and I'm seeing it a lot on the newest cars, 2024, 2025s. So as it gets darker at night, the lights automatically come on. I've got an older vehicle that does that, and I like it. My problem is I can't adjust when it comes on. In new cars, you can do that by going to here, and you can say, I want it really dark before the lights come on, or in my case, I want it much brighter, and my lights will still come on. And just click the OK. You can set the headlights to turn off automatically. You get up to 90 seconds, or, shut off when the car goes off. And then daytime running lights, you can turn on or off. And then the auto off timer here. You have 30 seconds. These are interior lights, 15 seconds, 7.5, or just off. So you can close the door. How long does it take the lights to go out? All right. Door control. Do you want the vehicle to lock when you shift from park? Do you want it to lock when you hit about 5 miles an hour? Or do you just want to manually lock every single time? Okay. I like to shift from park one. Auto unlock, same choices. Do you want it to auto unlock? A lot of people just choose off on that one. And that way you can have to manually unlock. In case you pull into an area you don't want them to automatically unlock until you tell it to. But the auto lock is a really nice feature. On your key fob, you got a 2 press to unlock, on or off. Lock when door is open, on or off. When you unlock with the key fob, do you want all doors to unlock or just the driver's door? Okay. Auto relock timer. I like this. So when you unlock, how quick will auto relock for you? 120 seconds, 60, 30 seconds, or don't want that feature off. Feedback lights. When you hit the unlock or the lock button, the lights flash at you. That's where that is, on or off. Feedback tone. You can set that there. Okay, next one is boarding and exit. This is really nice. Seat slide, okay? This does have a manual tilt and telescope steering wheel, but if you turn the full on, what that's going to do is it's going to lower your seat and back it as far up as it can when you turn the vehicle off and open the door. And it makes it easier for you to get out. And then when you get back in again, well, it's gonna slide that seat forward. Okay, and your memory settings, your driver profile will bring it back to exactly where you need it. Okay, under climate, it's just simple one button here. You can have AC mode with auto or not. So every time you turn on auto, if it needs AC, it'll put it on automatically. So that is all the things in this list. So the next thing I want to show you is the cameras, which are just awesome. Okay, so right now I'm in reverse, and you see I've got static guidelines, swivel guidelines, and then sort of a center hitch guide, okay? Now I can use this button here, and I change it. Now I get an X, kind of, and the X stays right in the center of the static lines. Okay, so if I can line this up with this, that's, that I'll get there. One more here, I can just go back to basic guidelines here. So that's where you can switch your guidelines, okay? And then right down here, if I uncheck that, I get rid of that green line, okay? Now, forward camera, okay? I do get some boundaries right here for sensors that'll go off in case I get too close to something. If I hit the return button here, which is an interesting feature, it goes back to your last view, which I think is very interesting. Okay, that's the front view. Now, if I go over here, I get a narrow front view, okay? Right front tire, left front tire. All right, so it does have little guidelines. They're really kind of a color that's hard to see, but they're there, and it's helpful if you're parking up against the curb and kind of tell how far you are exactly. I don't know what the distance measurement on that line is, but I'm going to guess it's a foot. So you could accurately park within a foot of the curb when you're parking. All right, now this is the same view, but it's the backside. Now here's what's interesting. I can change the angle of the camera. So when you're backing up, it's a little more critical. So now I can see a little bit further off to my right or a little further off to my left if I need to. That is the first time I've ever seen that feature. And then I get a plus where I can zoom in a little bit and zoom out. Okay, so that's the 4 cameras. Now this particular car, and you can get this as an accessory, comes with an auxiliary camera. And right now it's not hooked up, but it's in a box in the back and it's Wi-Fi based. I believe it's going to come into your rear view mirror when you access this. But what it's an antenna you put on top of the roof, and then it's a camera that you mount on the back of a trailer. Okay, and then you can get that up in the digital rear view mirror, which we'll look at in just a minute. Now, let's get out of this for a minute, and I'm going to go back to camera, which you do have a view button down below, basically straight down below the volume button, just a little bit to the right. Okay, if I don't want this 360, I can just get rid of it and have a big screen. If I turn it back on again, you notice that I have some control over where I'm looking. And it's easiest usually just to tap, and it seems to go to the corners, the far corners. So that is really interesting. Now, auto right here, if that's check marked, then anytime you slow down under, I believe it's under 5 miles an hour, the front camera comes on, which is really nice. So it just automatically comes on. It's really helpful for parking in like shopping mall parking lots, watching that front bumper. Okay, so that is the backup camera. It is absolutely awesome. I love the auxiliary camera that you can put on the back of the trailer, and the fact that it's just an antenna and then you mount it to the back of your trailer. Really, 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 really neat. Okay, this does have a 3-zone climate control. So you do have driver and passenger temperature settings. Nice big physical buttons, right? I mean, they're meaty. I like that. Okay, you've got your fan speed. You can control the rear right here. If I do this, I can change it with either driver or passenger. It doesn't matter. Okay, go back. Now I'm controlling this side. Modes. Okay, where your air is going to blow. And then I love this because now I can hit sync right here. There's nothing about climate in the screen. No buttons. They've put it all physical. They've gone away from that, which I absolutely love. This does have 3-stage heated and 3-stage ventilated seats. Of course, you got your auto climate control here. And again, it's tri-zone. You can turn everything off. You got your front defroster, your rear window, plus your mirrors, air conditioning, recirculatory, and then this one syncs the rear. with the front, which is awesome. And then, of course, the passenger's 3-stage heated, cooled and 3-stage heated seats. And this is the USB plug that you use to plug in to Android Auto if you want to run it via cable. Okay, well, that is it for the driver's information screen and the infotainment screen on the 2025 Toyota Sequoia. And again, this is the limited trim level. Hope this has been helpful. Thanks for watching.